Hello book lovelies and welcome back to the Happy Little Book Nook. For those of you who are new, I'm Jen, and today we are going to talk about apps that I use to fix up and make my Bookstagram photos look a little bit extra, or at least a little bit nicer. This is a video that you guys have requested and I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I just have not gotten around to doing it. So it's 2018, it's a new year, let's do a new video. So just to kind of give you guys a preface of what we're going to be talking about, this is strictly going to focus on how I edit photos, what apps I use, what I use for all that. So please just keep in mind, I'm not going to be showing you how I actually take the photos, because I do have other videos which I will link below that talk about props and how I put them together and all that stuff. So if you're interested in that, look below, watch those videos. Hopefully you'll enjoy as well. But today we're just going to talk about editing. I do use an iPhone 10 for my photos. Before that I used an iPhone 7 Plus. And before that, it was an iPhone 6S. So I've only ever used Apple products. That's all I have. I'm sorry, guys. But I'm pretty sure the apps are available on Samsung, Google, like all the other platforms as well. If they're not, please comment down below and let me know, and I will try to find you something that would work or be its equivalent, or we'll kind of figure something out. But we are going to be using the Apple iPhone 10 for this, and that is what I use right now. That's what I use to take my photos. It's my camera. So yeah, just kind of give you a little preface. But we're going to go through all the different mini ways that I edit, from kind of the simple basic stuff to the little more advanced, kind of more expensive ways I guess I edit. So I'm going to give you kind of all the spectrum so you can find out what works best for you. But I'm sure you don't want to hear me ramble anymore. So let's get on with the tutorial. Okay, so I've got my phone opened up. There's my Instagram account, and down here is a little Bookish folder where I keep all my book apps. But the one we're going to be looking at today is this photography folder. This has got all the apps and camera apps that I use to edit photos and take photos. So the ones we're going to talk about today are VSCO Cam, Snapseed, and Facetune. Those are the three apps that I use primarily for all my photos. The other ones in here are just kind of fun ones that I've downloaded over the years. Things that I play with from time to time, but I don't use them all the time. So we're just going to focus on like the key ones today. So let's open up Snapseed. Snapseed is my favorite app because you have so much control to edit. So this is a photo I took earlier today that I posted on my blog. We are going to go right down here where it says Tools, and it pops up all these incredible tools for us. The one that I like to use, the main one that I use, is this one called Tune Image. So up above it'll tell you what it's doing. So this is for brightness. If I go down here, I can control all these different settings. So we're going to control brightness, we're going to do contrast, we're going to do saturation, ambiance, highlights, shadows, and then you also have warmth. So let me go back here to brightness, and we are going to play with that. So I like my photos to be really bright, and if you slide your finger along here, you'll see that it brightens up quite a bit. So bright photos are definitely something I love. And then I also like to play with the contrast a bit. So you can go really dark on them. I tend to play with this a little, it depends on the photo. Sometimes I like it a little bit less contrasty just because it looks a little more dreamlike and fairy-like and pretty. Saturation is something I also kind of play with a bit. For this one, I definitely added more saturation to it because I like that the book is like a bright blue and I want the pinks to show up. So I played with saturation a bit. Ambiance is probably one of my favorite things to play with, because I don't know if you, do you see how it changes? So like the more ambience you get, the brighter it gets, the less it's kind of a little duller. So I always love to add the ambiance to it because it just kind of makes things pop. It makes them a little special, a little bit more extra. Highlights are also something I do because I like my photos, again, to be bright. So I really want things to pop. I really want it to be bright and clean. And then shadows, I play with depending on the photo. Usually I'm going to probably go like away from the darker photos, again, because I like them bright. So we do that. And then warmth is the other thing. So this photo, because I had the blue book, it picked up a really blue hue to it. So if I slide it over to the left, you'll see that it gets really blue. If I slide it over towards the right, it starts to get a little bit more warmer color, like a little bit more yellow, and the colors start to pick up a little more truer. So I just kind of pull that over till I think, okay, that looks pretty good. And then when I'm done, hit this little check mark in the bottom, and we're good. So we've already exported the photo. Now we're going to take it over to Facetune. So I've already got it opened up here. So what we're going to go ahead and do in here is we're going to make it a little bit whiter and a little bit cleaner. So I love to use the little whiten tool down here. And I'm going to kind of zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. But as you color over something, do you see how it makes it whiter? So anything in my picture that I really want to be white and clean, I can go over it with this. And it really, really makes a huge difference. So I do use this a lot, like if I'm taking photos of like my bookshelves because they're white, or like if the background, which I know is hard to see in this video, like this is white, because I really want it to pop out and I want it to be as true of color as possible. So this is a really, really, really cool little thing that you can do. If you do it too much, it looks really fake, and like you'll start to see that it looks like overexposed. So just do it a little bit, but you can do it on anything and it comes out looking so much nicer. So that's my favorite one there. So we're going to tell it okay. It is so weird editing photos through a camera. I'm like, what am I doing? The other one that I like to use is smooth. So like when I'm taking photos of like blankets or bedding or anything, I like to just run this over. You probably won't be able to see a whole big difference. Let's see if we can go over here. But it just kind of smooths it out and makes it look a little bit softer, a little bit truer, a little bit nicer. If you play with it in your app, you'll see it. It really, really makes it look a lot better. And the other thing that I will do on occasion, I haven't done it for a while though, is I like to play with the defocus. So you can defocus or you can blur. If I'm going to do something like lights in the background, or like I do have a background that maybe I just don't want like to be the main focus, I will do the defocus. Let's see, can you see that? I don't know if it's really making all that big a difference in the video, but it just kind of softly focuses out the stuff to make it a little bit softer, a little bit nicer. If you do blur, you go over it, you can see that a little bit better. But see how it just kind of blurs everything out in the background. So then it'll make out your photo of the book to really pop out, and everything else just kind of fades into the background, so to speak. So let's say that's okay that way. Then we hit this little guy up here, and we saved a camera roll. At least that's what I do. And we're going to go out of there. VSCO Cam is one that I like to use from time to time. You'll see I've got all kinds of book photos in here. I don't use it that often, but I will use it. Let me see if I can import. Well, like this photo I took here. I was playing around with like some of the filters and stuff. I really try to stay away from filters, only because sometimes they just make the photo look a little less clean and bright, and they don't really fit my theme that much, which is just really clean, bright pictures. But if you did want to play with the filters, come on. Now it's just being weird. I'll select that photo, for instance, and we will go down here. Some of the filters that I really have loved in the past would be this HB1 and HB2. And you'll see them a lot on like Tumblr and stuff, because they just kind of make everything look a little bit more cleaner and nicer. I also really love, where's the S's? Sometimes like S1 and S2. I know a lot of people like to play around with like the A's. They're a little darker for my theme, so I'm not loving them yet. But this is something that like I will play with from time to time. I just don't use it as much as I once did. So that's that. Then if we head over here to Instagram, hello newsfeed. I do tend to kind of do a little bit more editing sometimes through the Instagram app, just because I really want it to fit and look nice. So what I will do is go down here to edit, and again I play with the brightness because I really like a bright photo. So sometimes it's good the way it is. Sometimes I just add like a little extra brightness. And then I just play again with like warmth. I'll play with saturation. Let's see. So I want just like a little more color in it. We can do that. But I play with it before I post it, just to make sure it really really looks the way that I want it to, and it fits my aesthetic and it fits my theme. Let me get out of here real quick and I will show you. So like this is my current, these 6 photos are what I would call my current theme. I wasn't really stoked with what I had before, and I think it's because some of these, yeah, I put more time into than others, but some of them were just kind of like thrown together at the last moment because I just wanted to post a photo and I was like, I gotta get something up here. Some of them were a little bit more thought out, but I really want to have a theme and like a feed that just looks really pretty and really aesthetically pleasing and is a little bit more continuous and not so like broken up. So it's these 6 right here that are like my current theme, and they're featuring a lot of lights. This one I really liked it. It was just kind of like a clean thing that just made the one pop out a lot. This is my one from today, which, where's the love, guys? Where's the love? We're only at 68. Just kidding. But again, this one has like a lot of white. I went through Facetune, cleaned up some of the whiteness, played with the color, made sure the lights were all looking pretty and bright. So this is one I did there. I did this one recently too. So this is all kind of just part of my new theme. I hope you guys are liking it. Please comment down below what your thoughts are, because I'm always looking for insight and input, because I just have not found my thing yet. Like, I feel like I'm searching for my identity on Instagram. So yeah, but I hope that helps, guys. That is pretty much all that I use on here for it. Camera, like I said, I do use the iPhone 10 camera for everything. I always go into square mode so that it's perfectly fits, it's ready for Instagram. I do love portrait mode, and I can't show you really what it does right here because it's not, I don't have like a subject, but it blurs stuff out and you can play with the lighting in it, which I think is kind of nice. So if you've got one that has this on it, definitely play with it because it's really fun. Photo does give you like a rectangular photo, but again, I just stick with square because that way I don't have to cut anything out. My feed stays continuous, everything looks good. So that's what I use for my camera. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Then let's talk about lighting. So I'm going to turn this guy off so you can see, but this is my light. So you can see it is so bright, it blocks out everything else in its way. But let me turn this off for a second. Don't mean to blind you guys. Woo. See all the difference that it makes? So this little light here, it's a little box lamp, box light from Limo Studios. It stands up there. Pardon my mess down there, but still cleaning up. This little guy, I got it in a set of 2, and it actually, I think it was like no more than $80 on Amazon. So if you go on Amazon.com, you can buy one of these guys. Like I said, I got a set of 2. I only ever use one because I'm filming in my bedroom, and it's not a really big space to film in. So it's perfect. It does stand up quite tall. Like you can see my tripod there. It will stand up taller than that, and you can change the direction you want it to go. You can put it however you like it. So that is also something that I use for my photos. If you guys are curious on kind of how to take photos, like if it's like dark. So you can see my room right now. It's about 5 o'clock right now at night, and it's already getting pretty dark and not as bright as I would like it for photos. So sometimes if it's on a cloudy day, these guys really come in handy a lot. So I highly, highly recommend them. And they're easy to take apart. They're easy to fold up and just put away. So then lastly, I like to use, well, there's all kinds of lights in the background that it won't focus. Photoshop. You can see right there. This is Adobe Photoshop that I use. I am on the Creative Cloud, which makes it a little bit more cost effective. You can do it monthly. If you're a student, I think it's about like $20 a month. And you get access to all of their programs. So definitely recommend checking it out. This is the photo that we were just working on my phone. I imported it to my computer. This is what it looked like after I finished editing it on the phone and on Photoshop. And this is what it was like before. So you can see this one's a little bit brighter. This one's a little bit more blue, a little bit more darker. This one also, I don't know if you guys can see, if it'll focus enough, but right down here, I put in a watermark just so that it's my photo and nobody will take it. So some of the things that I like to do here is I like to adjust the levels. So levels allow you to kind of adjust the overall photo and kind of how it's going to look. And this is where you can get it a lot brighter if you want to, but it just kind of adjusts everything. It's not just brightness. So I'll do a little bit of levels. And then I also like to do color balance. So color balance is cool because it gives you this little chart here. And for this photo, because it was like really blue to start with, I want to add a little bit more warmth back into the photo. Not a lot, just a little bit. So I'm going to kind of play around with pulling it towards the warmer side here. And just making sure that like my pinks are really pink and everything is popping. I don't know if on camera it's really coming out the way that I want it to, but you guys can kind of get a feel for what's going on here. Another cool thing you guys can do if you have brushes is, I don't know if you guys have seen kind of the bokeh look people will do sometimes around like their lights. They kind of add that little extra magic and pop to them. So you can download free brushes and play with those. There's all kinds of tutorials out there if you search for them that will show you how to make them actually like look like they're glowing lights and really emphasize it. So that's something I'm also kind of playing with for future photos, just to give you a hint. And then obviously if you wanted to add in your watermark, you can do that. I don't know if you can see this because it's so tiny. Let me make it bigger. Bigger! Okay, there you go. Also, if you want to know, to get that copyright icon on a Mac, you hold down Option G, and it gives you that little copyright mark, just in case you're wondering. So we type that in. Obviously, I'm not going to keep it that large because that would just be ridiculous. But then you got your little watermark here, and then you can add it wherever you want to. And if you use the free transform tool here, which is Command T on a Mac, you can just kind of line that little guy up there so that he's kind of out of the way. Then we go back over here, and I'm going to play with the opacity, and I'm just going to blend it in so that you can see it, but you can't see it. So that's also another way that I edit my photos. It's a little bit more expensive just because you do have to buy the program. I know some people use Lightroom, which is something I also want to get into, that's made by Adobe, but I just wanted to show you guys this just because there are a lot of options here that you can play with, and I know a lot of Bookstagrammers are starting to use a lot of Photoshop edits in their photos, so this is just another little tidbit for you guys. Alright guys, so that's all I've got for you today. I really hope that you liked the video. I really hope that it gave you some awesome tips and some new apps to try in editing your photos, because I know sometimes it's kind of crazy to figure out like how it all comes together and how we get from point A to point Z. So please comment down below guys your Bookstagram or Instagram names, because I really would love to check out your accounts. I feel like sometimes it's hard to find new accounts because there's just so many of us, which is a great thing, but also kind of a bummer because I want to see what you guys do and I want to see the tips that you're using and see the beautiful photos that you're making and let others see the beautiful photos that you're making as well. So please guys, leave your handles down below, your usernames down below, so that we can all share in the love. But until next time, happy reading, book lovelies.